Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Earthbound playthrough.
Yeah, you saw we're on level 5 now. We're getting a little bit of experience.
Getting a little bit of experience. We actually really love gaining experience, and mostly because of this game. Actually, mostly because of our brothers, but that's a story for another time.
What time was it in the game when this story ends up coming up? Was it in Threed?
Yeah.
When we get to Threed, we'll explain.
Yeah, we'll explain the great Earthbound tragedy that happened in Threed. But, Threed is also, in my opinion, an awful place to begin with. I just hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know how often we actually look at the map.
Not very often.
I think because we just know where everything is now. Just kind of.
Yeah.
So it's almost like instinct. You know where things are after you've traveled there enough times.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first few times we played the game, we may have used the map a little more often.
Yeah, maybe. It was never actually a big deal, and actually, most RPGs it's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you'd ever look at the map at like Final Fantasy or any of the Final Fantasy games. It's not like the towns are like a sprawling metropolis.
Oh, original Final Fantasy, I do.
The world map?
Yeah.
Well, that's a different story. I mean, like a town map.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you look at the world map in Legend of Zelda, the hell is that game called? Link to the Past. And it's kind of useful sometimes.
Yeah, well, mapping that place can be kind of, especially the first, couple minutes or so you're playing it, can be kind of difficult to navigate. One game I never found any need for a world map for was Final Fantasy VII. It's really not that big. You can actually, if you get shut off the minimap, which we usually kind of do, you really won't be lost.
Yeah, you just fly around to eventually find everything. Same thing with Final Fantasy VI. Even when the world gets rearranged,
it's not that bad.
You can kind of just figure out where things are just by feeling around. And it's actually the easiest way to find things for me because I'm like, there's a little dot there. I think that's a town. I don't even look at the map. It's just like, okay, over here's a town. Over there's a town.
Yeah.
Anyways, that guy was talking about Giant Step back there.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about the music in this game. It is so wonderful. And I really wish we could let it play without getting some kind of YouTube bullshit. But here's the life we live in.
Yeah. I'm so excited because as much as I love this game, and I'm certain it's probably going to be the best of the series, we do finally have Mother 3, and I cannot wait to play it.
Yeah, we have Mother 3, and we also have that one game we mentioned while playing Earthbound 0 or Mother or whatever. The Citizens of Earth for the PlayStation 3.
Do we own that?
Yeah. So that's kind of like all part of the
Earthbound conglomerate.
Yeah, because I believe it will have an Earthbound-like feel to it. I believe that.
Yeah. Mother 4, though, when it finally gets released.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching it every day. As soon as they announce it's released, I'm going to download it before it gets taken off.
Yeah, we're going to snatch that shit up.
Because it's going to be taken off.
Is it being produced in, assembly? Is it going to be able to run on, an old hardware? Or is it being...
I don't know. As far as I know, it's only going to be runnable on a computer.
Because I would get, a Harmony cart or something like that for the Super Nintendo if...
The power pack that they're actually called?
Yeah. And if I could play it on the console.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
The only problem with the power packs is you can't play them on the Retron 5.
Oh, no. Well, we have a Super Nintendo.
We do have a Super Nintendo, yeah. It's weird. That, I think, is... I don't know what to call that. Because of the way the Retron 5 works, I think that's kind of a dumb rule on their part. Because they had to choose that.
Yeah, I guess so, but the whole point of the Retron 5 is you're supposed to own the games.
Yeah.
And if you could just download a ROM and then you could, I don't know, it would kind of be against the spirit of the console, I guess.
And that's where I think we do need to do what in the hell?
You can't go into the bathrooms, so they always have someone run in there.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you don't need to, you don't, obviously, you're a video game character, so it's like, why would you go in there?
Okay. So, anyway, what was that? Oh, one thing that we really want, we need to talk about on the drinking and thinking, which we've done a little bit of a sabbatical on, mainly because drinking that much all the time is not super great for you. But anyway, one we need to talk about is the Retron 5 and how it's kind of like that thing that nobody wants to admit to doing.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it's not a bad thing to own, a lot of people treat it like it's like... I'm trying to think what's a politically correct term to use here.
They treat it like it's,
the bastard child.
Yeah, they really do. They kind of treat it like, oh no, I don't acknowledge that. I don't believe in that. Well, it's like, you probably do because you probably own it. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's
neither here nor there.
See, what I love about this game is how, some games break the fourth wall a little bit. This game just shatters it to pieces. Explodes it to a million little pieces.
But it does it in such a way that it doesn't pull you out of the game. It's weird.
It's a part, because they make it a part of the game. It's like when you read a Deadpool comic, it's like, that's a part of the comic, so it's going to happen. Also, that guy reminds me of Rossetti, if you play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I wonder if they took Rossetti from this, like
got the idea from it? Probably. See, the thing is, with the fan-made version of Earthbound 4, and with the recent news of Shenmue 3 being made, and now Nintendo's releasing Earthbound as downloadable content for the Wii U, and Sega wanting to, Sega's talking about at least doing HD remakes of Shenmue 1 and 2. I think there's just a lot of stuff going on that I like. It's like, there's been so many years of just like a drought of games, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, here's all of the games. There's no in between, but that's okay.
Next thing they're going to announce is Super Mario RPG 2.
Right. Well, they do have the Paper Mario, and that's
and they do have those Mario Luigi Superstar games, which
I think there's one for the
Game Boy Advance.
Which means we'd be able to play it on the Retron 5. And I know they've got the DS versions and 3DS versions of these games, but that's kind of, we have never been into the handheld aspect of games.
Yeah, we do own a lot of them.
We do own a lot of them.
Now.
We do play them occasionally, but you got to picture this, okay? We have a big family. What if
there are 7 of us? 7 siblings.
7 siblings. And we've got nephews and nieces that are in gaming age and things like that. So
more cousins than there are grains of sand at the beach. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and so it's like one person. I'm trying to picture it. Like, how do you do that? Right, one person's going to sit on like a coffee table, and everyone else is going to sit up on top of a couch, but like on the back end of the couch, so their feet are on the cushions. And they're just like high above you and looking over your shoulder, like an ocean of people looking over your shoulder while you all play on one little tiny screen. It doesn't make any sense.
Now, granted, we have at one point or another sat up on the back of the couch with our feet down on the cushions. When we were kids, I used to do that all the time.
I mean, yeah.
Because it's like you feel real big.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. Well, anyways, so the handheld has never really appealed to us. I mean, we get the concept of just picking up a game and playing it. But we always played the games with each other, so, some kind of integration of that would be fine. But at the end of the day, we wanted the Super Game Boy. You put it in the Super Nintendo and you just played those games. Or the Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube. All that's all rolled into one right now with our Retron 5. But they don't do that with 3DS, and they don't do that with the regular games. However, PlayStation has done that with the PlayStation TV.
Yeah, with the PlayStation TV is a wonderful little console thing. I
think we got it for $40. I don't know if they got like a deal or something like that on Amazon. You know, they do those things where it's like $40, normally $80 or something like that. Anyways, we got it for $40, and you can play. You know, you can download PSP games onto
almost every PSP game, as long as it was downloadable, is available to play on.
And in the PlayStation Vita, it's actually got a cartridge slot for the PlayStation Vita, so
yeah, you don't have to.
And you can play those with your controller and play it on a TV.
It doesn't support every Vita game, but it supports quite a few. I mean, I was looking. There's like 700 games or so available for this thing.
And anyways, what I was going to go with this was we do play a lot of mobile games on our phones. We also develop games for them, but that's a different subject. What I'm trying to say is we play those games on our mobile phones because those games are kind of designed to, well, all of them are kind of designed to be played alone, but those games in particular, you don't really feel like you want to play with another person, you know, unless you're, you know, that's like the PvP versions of those games. But, so I understand the concept of wanting to just, like, pick it up, play it for a little bit, and then put it away.
Right.
But the games I actually want to play on those handheld consoles and the ones that keep getting released for them are not those type of games.
They're like epic 40-hour-long RPGs.
Yeah, I don't want to do that with that. I want to play it. I want to sit back on the couch. I want to play it with other people in a room. I want everyone to experience a world with me. And, you know, or even Harvest Moon. I've never fully understand why someone would consider that to be a good mobile game. Harvest Moon there's the growth aspect, but there's a lot of planning involved with, like, planning out your day, and I don't know. I guess I just don't fully understand how it can be a mobile game.
Yeah.
Or a handheld game, I mean.
Yeah, that is a weird event.
So I feel like the games that are coming out for the handhelds, to me, don't fit the paradigm of pick up, play, put away. I think the mobile games do that a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. They're just not really appealing to me. Maybe they're just not even trying to appeal to me because of how different my mind works, and they're just like, whatever, you're not in our market, screw you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, I always liked playing the games on the screen, and so that's just why I guess that's why I mostly like RPGs, because it's like there's so much involved. There's no way that they would really seriously consider putting all of them on handhelds.
Yeah. And you know, there are a few other games that are also really bad on a handheld, in my opinion. Fighters are really bad on a handheld because fighters in general are only fun with another person playing.
Okay, real quick, that part when I was younger always kind of confused me or angered me a little bit because I was like, I don't remember which one's east and which one's west. And that was when you told me the easiest way to remember it is never eat soggy waffles.
Yeah.
So, you know, north, you point up, never eat soggy waffles. So that's northeast, south, and west. So that's how I was able to figure out directions.
Yeah.
I guess would be from Earthbound and you. So, but have we been to the hospital yet?
No.
I think while we're exploring the town and talking to everyone, literally everyone. I mean, that's what you do in RPGs. You talk to everybody, but you do it more in this game than any other game, because like all the other games, you're like, what's this dumbass gonna say? But in this game, you're like, what's this dumbass gonna say?
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be pretty funny, or you're at least gonna be like, I'm glad I talked to this dumbass, you know, because like he's just gonna say something stupid.
Yeah, they did such a good job at making even the most pointless people talking, like this guy. You know, he's totally pointless, but I don't know, that was funny and charming, and it's so weird even during the golden age of RPGs, this game was unique.
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe Japan had a lot more RPGs. They probably did. Obviously, they did. But coming over here, and it's like we've played probably 3 or 4 RPGs by the time we played this game, and they're already making fun of it. It's like, I was like, yeah, that is right. They have you do these stupid fetch quests. They turn everything on its head, and I don't know. I think that's they didn't do it in a mean way. They weren't just like, oh, I hate everything about this game. They actually it's more of an homage than it is an insult to RPGs. It's like, these are all the things that are in a traditional RPG, but we're not going to really take it super serious. We're just gonna take you along for the ride and let you feel however you want to feel about it. And then by the end of the game, you have all the feels about it. Let me tell you.
There are. It is really interesting. This game also, I think, nowadays, there are 2 types of people. There are the people who still really like this game, and the people who see the deepness of it, and then there are people who did like it, or maybe enjoyed it when they played it, but are now starting to say it doesn't deserve the reputation it has. And
I'm not sure. I honestly have no idea how anyone could say that. But if I were to come up with an excuse on the spot, it would be that just not quite understanding what's going on.
And that's the thing. I feel like Earthbound in general, and a lot of people, the people who don't see this will always say that, oh, that's just a fanboys. Well, I really don't get that with anything ever really, except Star Wars. Anything Star Wars, I'm a total fanboy for. But anyway, this game actually does have a deepness that I think that if you don't quite get, you're just missing out on it. And I'm trying to think, who was it that did that really? Was it Matt Pat from Game Theorists did a really good video on Earthbound, and he did hit just every note. I think almost every note was hit perfectly on that.
Yeah, he did. And speaking of hitting every note, and I feel like this is a very Earthboundy comment by acknowledging this. Hitting every note is
Brentafloss, yeah.
He's sang a lot of good Earthbound songs, and they also hit the note.
Yeah,
and both musically and
why you enjoy this, why we enjoy this game. There's points in this game where it suddenly goes from like this. Say something funny, I'll listen. Okay, this is the stupidest thing ever. But there are times where it goes from that to being unusually poignant.
Yeah, you really... It's all part of the game. Okay, you're going through this, you're just walking through this town, and if you didn't grow up in the 90s, you may not quite recognize some of the color schemes or some of the buildings, just the way things were then. When you're playing this game, you are putting yourself in that world because it's so easy to do that. Just the way this like suburban like town has been built, you just kind of connect to it in some way. And when you do that, and you're seeing all these little things, there's like little quirky things. All of a sudden, if anything happens to this world, it's like it's happening to your own house. It's like it's happening to your own world. And if anything happens to the characters in it, it's like it's happening to you.
Yeah. Because
they take they go so slow with it. It's not like, oh, trust me, you're supposed to care about this person. You're supposed to care about. They don't throw it in your face over and over again. You just naturally grow connected to it. Mm-hmm. And that is the gameplay element of an RPG that is rarely used.
Uh-huh.
They like to throw this RPG element, and it's just you building your character, because you get points, and then that's your character. you get character customization, so that's it. 2 or 3 things that happen throughout the whole game that get you connected to it, and then there's a big plot twist or something. They just follow a formula. You never actually get connected to anyone because they are constantly throwing in your face, reassuring you you're supposed to be connected to it, and that just throws you out of the game.
Right.
But this game is just like, this is what's happening, progress at your own speed, go do whatever you want. The less you talk to people, the less you'll know what's going on. The more you talk to people, the more connected you become to every character in it. And you start noticing subtle differences, subtle changes in people's behavior, like you would in real life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's connecting it to how a human being works, and that they notice these things. And that's what all good RPGs do. That's kind of the essence of an RPG, is to actually get you to start playing your role.
Yeah. And that, I like both Japanese and Western RPGs. I like them both. I really do. But I think that's the major difference between a Japanese RPG and a Western RPG. Is Western RPGs have kind of lost their way a little bit in how they just, everyone just like makes themselves and plays themselves in the game.
Yeah, or some sort of like ideological version of themselves.
Yeah, but in Japanese RPGs where you don't get a lot of customization, you have to start thinking like the character.
Yeah.
And so you actually take on the role of this character in a different way. And it's not necessarily better, it's different though. And it really presents a different type of storytelling. And
yeah, it's like when you're reading a book and you just kind of look through the book and it's like, who do I acknowledge myself?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so slow down because there's so many people there. The street sharks are they're a little tough the first time you fight them.
Yeah. Anyway, what you're saying?
Oh yeah, when you're reading a book and you look for who you relate to the most.
Right.
Because you can't make a character in the book. You can't be your own. You can't put yourself in the book. You have to find who you are in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of like gets you thinking a little bit differently. If you can't find anybody, then chances are you probably don't like the book.
Yeah.
And there are several RPGs. There are several JRPGs, especially for the PlayStation 2, that I can't recognize myself with anybody, so I just don't like the game.
Yeah, and it turns into a drudgery to play.
Yeah, you just it's really just more like a notch. You just gotta beat the game.
We've said it in another video. First Final Fantasy 1 video we did. Final Fantasy 10 is not our cup of tea.
No, it's not, and that's the major reason. I can't relate to anyone in that game. I like Auron, but I don't relate to him. He's some super powerful guy, I guess. I mean...
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
Here we go, Street Sharks. Okay. Pogo guy... I think that Pogo guy can call on more people, but that guy's much stronger.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. It's hard to say who to kill first. Oh, no. Took that like a champ. Oh.
Well, you gotta just take him out. Hopefully we get some criticals.
But yeah. There are others too. I mean, it's just I don't know. I think actually comparing it to a book is actually probably the most astute way of going about this.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to point out is that I think that Western RPGs have, on top of, they have over JRPGs, is that I think there are some times where I prefer their systems better.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing Fallout, and that game's amazing. I think that the Fallout games have an amazing story. I just don't identify with very many characters in the story.
Right.
Unless I force myself to be in the game, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, I'd totally save the world. I mean, look at me. And it's, I don't know. Anyways, the point is, those games, I like that system.
Which one? Fallout.
Fallout and Skyrim. There are a few others. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but they're. It's not that I prefer them all the time. It's just they are in fact very good systems.
Yeah. The Mass Effect system.
Mass Effect, yeah. That Baldur's Gate and Mass Effect were the ones I was trying to think of. I don't know why I couldn't think. I love those games. Anyways, but that's just kind of a preference. Every once in a while, I like to play something a little different.
Yeah.
But I don't see why. I don't see why you can't have both. I don't understand why you can't have like a JRPG kind of story setting, but with Western type system.
And that is also odd.
But maybe you can't. Maybe you can't because I know.
Well, Dragon's Dogma, kinda.
Yeah, I think Dragon's Dogma is a good example. Though sometimes I feel like that the story is non-existent in that game. So
yeah.
And maybe it's not the best example, but maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I guess it's somewhere in the middle. But if we go to the hospital, I think we can check two things off the list right away, and that's two reasons why this game took so long to be re-released. I'm not sure. Oh, the hospital had a Red Cross on it.
It might not be every hospital. I think it might just be the Tucson hospital.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's on there. Hang on. No, that was on the nurse's hands. I think it might just be Tucson's.
Okay. Are we gonna see Mr. T?
I don't know if he's here either. I think he's only in. He shows up in Tucson for the first time.
Oh, really? Have we ever been diamondized?
That's not until late game. There's a few characters that do it. They're aliens, and then there's Diamond Dog boss who does it like all the time, I think. But there's some aliens that diamond.
This is another thing about like you had to kind of grow up in this time. Yeah, they're still like the holistic healers, but they were really, really talked about and just kind of made fun of a lot.
They're
in the
on
90s.
TV all the time.
Yeah, they're on TV all the time. I was like, okay, no one actually believes in this. You know that, right? But they're right there, and you need them. You need to use them because they were a part of your real life world. So they made them a part of this game's world. You had to deal with them in real life. You have to deal with them here, and that was just how this is just how this game rolled. They just took everything. And, a lot of these things are kind of all portrayed as kind of cutesy and innocent because it's all really told through the eyes of a kid. And I know when I first played the game, a lot of these things that are now a little bit darker to me, I didn't pay attention to when I was younger. So it works on so many levels, it's actually kind of freaky.
Yeah, because there are stuff that you can only enjoy as an adult when you play this game, and then there are things that you could only truly understand if you played it as a child first.
And
I don't know how they wrote it that way.
I think they just took real life as harsh as it was, and then told it to themselves through the eyes of a child. How would a kid hear this? How would a kid understand this? And then that became the text. Yeah. And that's just it. I don't know if they intentionally did that or if they just did it because they're like, this may be a little bit too dark. Let's make it a little bit lighter. And it just so happens that that's how kids take the world. They just don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something, just another layer of why this game is so amazing. But those Street Sharks kicked the ever-living shit out of us.
Yeah, we do gain a little bit more experience than we thought.
I don't see how we could, at this point, well, I'm sure we could, but I don't see how we could casually kill Frankie G and the robot.
Yeah.
We might want to gain a few more levels. We certainly should buy some items. I don't think we have any items. I'm going to get this bitch.
We got a bunch of cookies. Oh, no, I guess we got everyone. But yeah, we got the best weapons and armor though. We do have that. We do need gain experience. That's one thing we're really big about is simply being able to kill everything. But one thing we're definitely going to do, and it's actually it's kind of funny because it's actually considered a challenge to do on starman.net, which is to buy the house before you go to Tucson.
Buy the house before we go to Tucson?
Yeah, you're supposed to. What they suggest to do, of course, is to get a lot of money from like the what's it called? The ant area.
Oh, the big place to Bigfoot step.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to get all the money though before we kill Frankie.
So just get all the money from killing street sharks.
Yeah.
Well, they did beat the shit out of us, and it would be nice to beat the shit out of a bunch of street sharks until we buy the house. And that's a little. It's kind of a little bit of a. I don't know if a spoiler is the right word. It kind of spoils some of the game. I know the very first time we played it, we went and looked at the house and were like, I don't even know if we even found the house, to be honest, the first time I played the game. I know we found it by the time we beat the game, but I don't know if we found it before we left this area. And we go back, we see that you can buy a house, and it was like, what? You're a kid. How can you buy a house? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And, you buy it, and, the house looks like the way it does. And it was like, oh, okay, so it's really more like a fort. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Sadly, this is the only gripe I have with the game, in the sense, I say it's a gripe in the sense that if they ever made another Earthbound, which, as a kid, I was thinking this. So many things I wish I could tell my child self how gaming would progress. Oh well. Anyways, the idea was the next Earthbound, you could buy a house and you could do stuff with it. Because I played Breath of Fire 2, where you could customize your town. Yeah. That game is freaking amazing. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so let's you buy a house and you could do stuff with it. And then, lo and behold, they never made another Earthbound. Nintendo 64 was a gigantic disappointment, and that was the world we lived in. However, in Final Fantasy VII, you could buy like a condo in Coast of the Soul, and it felt, to me, it felt like a.
Oh, it clearly isn't a nod to it, but it feels like it's a nod.
I'm trying to think of what the word is. I feel like it was I don't know. It just. I accepted it like that's what you're supposed to do in an RPG. That's what should let you buy something that you really got to work towards. However, they kind of really screwed that one up because I'm pretty sure if you talk to the guy and you say no the first time, even if you don't have enough money, he just stops talking to you. So you got one chance. Just don't talk to him until you have enough money, and you don't know how much money you need. So it's like they want to put something in there for the next time you play the game, which we did play several times, but I just feel like that's kind of a rip-off. They should let you say no.
Yeah, we usually made sure we had enough. Well, the second time I played it, we had enough money to buy the condo when we first get there.
Right. When you first leave Junin.
I'm not really sure.
Anyways, you leave there and you fight Sephiroth or a piece of Genova. I'm not sure how that works exactly, because it was like the whole thing when you fought her. And then I always thought the Genova was just enormous. Yeah. And the piece of Genova that fell off like some sort of skin flake was fucking huge, the size of the whole room. I was just it didn't make sense to me. I know in a world of JRPGs where things don't make a whole lot of sense, I am nitpicking on what I consider reality. But anyways, right afterwards you land in Coast of the Soul, and it's the classic beach area, and that was actually really fun.
It was a reprieve from what had been happening.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy shit was going on, and then all of a sudden you're just literally on vacation. It felt great. Yeah. And then we bought the house. Just right out because we go crazy with the gaming experience, and that is something, like I said at the beginning of the video, we'll explain when we get to 3.
We may even one time do like a podcasting type video where we gain experience the entire time.
Yeah, we could do that.
We develop little systems and stuff. We actually have a few videos early on. We did these a long time ago, where we actually revealed some of our $7,500. So it's actually not that bad.
That's not bad. Tell you what's going to be bad. Later in the game, you can do some pretty crazy stuff if you, when you're playing as Jeff in the winters.
Yeah, you can buy the T-Rex bat.
Yeah, you can buy some really powerful weapons, but you don't get any money because you can't get to an ATM. So you have to fight and get like cookies and salt packets and stuff, and then run back and sell them. But that takes forever, so we'll probably do that too. Maybe we'll do a podcast of getting the the Seven Kings sword.
Oh yeah, I think it is like 1/28.
Yeah, and that's in the middle of that Starman place. We'll just do it.
Yeah, that's like a good idea. We did it last time we played this game, and I don't remember it taking too long.
It only took I think it only took like 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm hoping it takes slightly less time.
It took 4 hours, but we didn't have the Retron 5 back then. We had it on Super Nintendo, so there was no save states. So we couldn't save it. You just played it until you got it.
Yeah.
So, but that was pretty rough. It's not that hard to get. It's only 1 in 128 chance, and since I think every time you walk into that room, there's like a 1 in 2 chance of one of the characters you need to be there. I mean, you do the math, it should only take a couple hours at most, right?
Yeah.
Also, the ATM. Have we talked about the ATM? That's amazing. We'll talk about the ATM in the next video. We need to do some experience gaining, and then we need to buy the house. So that's going to be a lot of experience gaining.
So this is a pretty good place to end it. It's, we talked to everybody in town as far as I know. Talked to this guy. Yeah, fuck him. Alright. Well.
We will see you next time.
Yep.